I'm Renee Rochelle, the founder and president of One True Match. I'm here to help you find and cultivate the love of your life. For over a decade, I've dedicated my life to the importance, purpose, and dynamic of human relationships. My team and I are disciplined by faith, love, and integrity to help our clients find the quality relationship they've always dreamt of. Each week, I will be sharing the tools and tips I've learned that have rooted my success as a matchmaker with other leaders around the world.
Hello, loves. Welcome back. We are so excited to complete this 3-section kind of series talking about a topic that we are so excited to have Connie back on, that we've been kind of holding out with all of the questions that you guys have been
3 weeks
writing in. Now that she's back from the UK to ask all the important relationship questions we're constantly getting, and this is obviously a continuation of the last 2 Thursdays. So get out your notepad. If you haven't listened to the other prior, I encourage you to listen to those other podcasts that's all about the popular questions that Christian singles are asking today to navigate their way to finding true love.
Yep.
So we're going to dive right into it. And the reason we had to do this in so many sections is because there were such great questions. We really wanted to spend ample time answering each question individually. So let's dive right into this. We don't need to introduce Connie, or if you don't know who Connie is, go back to any of our other podcasts together.
Yeah, because you'll see plenty of me. There's no getting rid.
We're excited to dive right in. So, question number 8.
Lucky number.
Right, is questioning, does being content mean I've relinquished my desire to marry?
I mean, everyone's views on this may be a little different, but personally, and as a matchmaker, I would say absolutely not. Just because you're content, that's great. I will go on about how it's great to make your life good as a single in preparation of waiting for your person or marriage. So I do not think at all that I don't think at all it changes anything. And I think that if anything, it makes you a stronger person. It makes you an even more positive, complete person. And I'll say over and over, you're complete on your own. You do not need someone else to complete you. You need to come together as a team. So I think being content on your own is such a powerhouse move. It is powerful. It's great. I think it makes you even more attractive that you can do it all. You can do it on your own. And it's not that when you look for a partner, it's not because you need them. It's because you want them. And Amen. I think that you being content on your own is exactly that. Like, it gives you that. When you meet that person, you just want them. You fall in love with them. You're content of who you are. You've done a lot of self-worth work, I am sure of it. And you've also done a lot of work in finding on who you want as well. You're not going out there and dating anyone or, making, going with the wrong type, shall we say, or whatever it may be. Like, I think if you're content, you're in your prime and you're ready to get out there.
It's so true. And talking to our clients on a regular basis, right? I mean, the reality of it is so many times people will say, well, when is it going to happen? It's been a couple of months. I still haven't found that person and blah, 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 blah. And exactly what you just said, our clients that it happens faster for in finding true love is because they give it all to the Lord, even though they've also given us the mission in helpers, right, to finding that right person. But they are so content in their love for the Lord, and that is why they've come to us.
Yeah.
Because they know it's a huge task to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we do all day long. We are looking for a needle in a haystack, right? Or, the shiny diamond that's in the rough, right? And it's so important that person, being you, being single, that you are content. And again, somebody is not going to, like you just said, complete you. And so I think so many times people feel that when this person comes in my life, I'll do this, or I'll do that, or I'll start this mission, or I'll do something different, or I'll do whatever. And we're like, why are you waiting to work out? If you want somebody that's healthy, be healthy. If you want somebody that's like active, be active, right?
If you want to do it. Like, that's one of my least favorite. Renee knows that. That's one of my least favorite things when people say, I'm going to wait for that person. Yes, are you going to make memories with that other person? Absolutely. But if you want to travel, so many people do this to me when I'm interviewing. Oh, I'm waiting to travel with someone else. And I'm like, no, and no. Go do it on your own. Go do it with friends, because it'll only make you more excited about your experiences and who you are when you get to that person, and you can then go show them what you've done.
Right.
Like,
And when you do it by yourself, you don't have a story that you did this with an ex, right? Which we all love to hear that story.
Yeah.
That it was like business, or it was just for fun.
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's a whole, people are like, I've traveled the world with my ex. It's like, yeah. Like, make sure it's really, truly the right person when you start doing all of those things. So being content alone and being that, like, just living your best life. Like,
right. And I think
your best life.
I think the flip side of this question, that when we were, brainstorming all these questions of which questions to put out here on the podcast and talk about, is like, so the question is being content, relinquishing my desire to marry. Here's the thing. There are a lot of people out there that are so content with their life, and they've gotten so used to this way after so many years of, like, I don't want to call it scar tissue, but in some regards, it is taking them away from the desire to be married, because they have seen so many people around them that struggle in marriages. So then people then start to say, maybe I'm better alone than I am to be in a relationship with somebody. My answer to that question, which is kind of a spinoff of this question, you are. But marriage, because that's the question, do you want to be married, is a lot of work, but very rewarding when you find the right career, I say, with the right person, because just the endless amount of love and just unconditional, like, love that you're obviously sharing, there's no better person to have by your side than what we call, like, God's helpmate in your life that he's designed for you to be with too. So I think it's the problem, the flip side of it all, and I'm very positive, obviously, but the flip side of being content is you want to also make sure that you're having a little bit of room to add somebody into your life if you truly want to be married.
Yeah, if you want it, always save the room. And then also, if there's something that arises, take the chance. Get to know that person. So, say for example, you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm really happy on my own, but this person just walks in. Give it a chance, and I think you'll be really pleasantly surprised with what happens.
Right.
You don't want to close it off just because you are content. I always say, give it a try, and you never know what God's plan is.
Absolutely. And finding somebody else that's also content is very important. So two content people can also then blend their lives together in compatibility.
100%.
And so our wrap up to all of these previous questions is questioning this last question, number 9, is who do you want to share your life with? I think is super important as like the final question for the other 8 questions we asked prior. And again, if you have no idea what we're talking about, go to the other other 2 Thursdays that we talked about all these questions leading up to it. So what's your answer?
So this almost reflects back to number 1 and number 9. So now you know your identity. Now you need to look at what you truly want. And I'm talking a list that is short enough that it's realistic, but long enough for core values. We're not talking about they have to be 6'5", they have to be this, they have to be that. We're talking about someone's personality, who you want to share your life with, someone is a spouse. And that's like, after listening to all of these 9 questions, and hopefully 3 weeks at this point you've listened to us and these questions, is give yourself time, give yourself some homework after this to create this list of your non-negotiables, things that need to happen, like, loving God, and that should be on everyone's, right? And then your wants, you would love for them to be a family person, they're just like examples. And then also things that are like fun, maybe you want to share some hobbies together. And as simple as this seems that I'm saying this out loud, you're probably like, yeah, okay. But have you ever sat down and done it? The answer's probably no. So take this time once you've listened to all 3 weeks, actually, I always say, Renee always says as well, 48-hour rule, I would actually wait 48 hours to do this list or reflect back on this, take 48 hours to reflect, and then really focus. What are you looking for? And maybe it'll look a little different from the first week that you listen to this. It'll be less materialistic, less, hey, I care about the eye color, the height, all of this, that. Of course, you want to be attracted to that person. We understand that. But hopefully this has taught you of really the core values of what you're looking for, but also to enjoy the time on your own in preparation for that person.
Absolutely. And I think, when you talk about sharing life with somebody, and we're talking about, like you're talking about the needs and wants analysis we go through with everybody, is so many times people say, oh, I want a family, right? When you're single and you haven't started a family yet, that's a great, big picture.
Mm-hmm.
But I encourage you to dissect that question even further, because just wanting a family without thinking about, it sounds really crazy, but God wants to hear our specifics. He wants us to admit, I want a man who is heavily involved in my child's life, or I want a man that's going to provide so that I can be a stay-at-home wife, or I don't know. Or I want, I want a woman, right? I mean, for both male and female listening to this, I want a woman that continues on her career. And then we have an au pair or a nanny that comes along on our trips, because then that way I don't know what that looks like for you, but really think these things through, because
think about it before.
Right. Because what happens all the time when you just meet somebody and you're attracted to them, and there's so many other things you're thinking aligns, but then when life starts to happen and family begins, or blended families, or whatever it is, we weren't really that specific. So it's kind of just out there.
Yeah.
But then you're realizing, wow, this is nothing that I wanted. And why is that? Because I really wasn't being specific enough to the details of what that life would look like that I desire.
Yeah. And also making sure that you're mentally prepping for this too. Like you said, when it comes to families, you're not just, oh, I want 3 children. What does that actually look like? Instead of thinking, and I will talk to singles so often, I'll be like, okay, what does this person look like? And it's literally like a square, right?
Yeah.
I want a wife, I want 2 kids, I want to work, and I want a dog. Okay, great. So what dog do you want? What do you want your house to look like? And it sounds so silly.
It does.
Or what do you want? When you want a wife, what personality do you want her to have? What characteristics do you want? And
what do your lives look like blended together?
Exactly. So not only are you looking
down to the daily routines even, right? What does
that look like? Are you a morning person? Are you a night person?
People were like, well, what difference does that make? I'm like, it makes a difference. It totally does. Are you somebody that needs 8 hours, or are you somebody that needs 4 hours of sleep? All of those things sound absolutely crazy, but once you get through the honeymoon phase of dating, the reality hits in, right? And so, the question is, do you want to share your life with somebody? And if your answer is yes, right? If you've written yes and not just lowercase yes, but all capital yes, right? With a lot of exclamation marks after that. Then practice all the things we've said, so that when you are in that place, and of course we have a ton of other tips, tools, and suggestions to also make sure if, you're dating somebody right now, or you're kind of wondering, to be able to have that clarity because you've done all of these steps, then you can and you will have a healthy, happy marriage because of all of those things you've done to prepare you, to equip you to be in the right relationship.
Yeah. And I would say after, really reflecting, make that list. If you have any questions, ask us, because some people don't realize that it's just not surface level. When you're out there dating, you have to do the digging first, and then you do the digging not only for yourself, then what you want your future wife, and then your future family, and then, this creation that's about to come in your life. So you've got to really deep, you've got to dig much deeper than you think that you should be. And hopefully that these questions really make you feel that way, and make you realize that if you do that work and you realize that, you'll quickly, be surprised at how these people come into your life, and also how you view dating differently.
Right. Amen. And I also say all day long, the biggest investment you'll ever make in your life should be your love life.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything good that comes from our love in God, right? Because it's supposed to be God and then your mate and then your family and everybody else. The next investment in your life, if you're not feeling fulfilled or content, should be yourself and your future mate.
100%.
And then everything from there, which is your career and your purpose and your family, everything will be the fruits of that labor because you've invested in your love life,
Yep.
right? And without love, we're lonely. Without the right relationship, we're broken.
Yep.
And so it's so very important that, all these questions that we're saying, you're asking, obviously, yourself. And gosh, we would love to meet with you if you've never spoken to a matchmaker or contacted our office before to help walk you through that journey.
Yeah.
So anyways, we hope you have found this very helpful and beneficial, and to please tune in to our other podcasts that we have prior.
Go do your homework.
Go do your homework. Continue to write in questions. We love answering these questions, especially for our singles out there trying to just navigate finding the right person. We also obviously work with our dating, engaged, and married couples today now. We are with them through the journey, the lifelong journey of unconditional love, just being their biggest cheerleader, supporting them, because we understand relationships are not easy. And so we want to be here as your resource, your tool, your guide, your cheerleader, all the things that we do when it comes to love and relationships. And we need the world to not only help you, but also help others to spread the love. So there's many ways to get involved in a community and be active as a world so we can continue to spread the love to all the right people that God has designed. So we are going to love and leave you and hope you have a blessed week, and tune in next Thursday for more great topics and conversations we'll share.
Love and leave you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's been another great talk on this episode of One True Talks by Renee Rochelle. I look forward to our next chat. Please write in your questions and comments so I can be sure to talk about whatever it is you want to discuss in our next upcoming episode. Lots of love. God bless. XOXO.